Hi guys. Oh, the TV's on. Hold on. I was watching The Incredibles. I love that cartoon. It is just so much fun. I love it. I love cartoons. Clearly. But yeah, so I was ugh. Oh, I came on to talk to you about the crazy psychic journey that I'm on, right? And or spiritual journey, right? So, okay. Friday I go out to dinner with my friend, right, who like starts spitting out all the spiritual knowledge, which is awesome, right? Saturday I go to Hollyfest, and then I have that other coincidence, and I'm like, and then today I end up working for a lady who I was just assembling like shelving in her office, and ends up being another spiritual, like another kindred spirit. Unbelievable the conversation that we had about everything spiritual. Like I was telling her, like I'm getting into Reiki, and like I'm going through this journey right now, and these signs keep on popping up, and I just keep meeting people that are bringing me closer to my, my purpose. I told her about the intimacy school, the Uplift the Homeless program. I kind of touched on Free My Vision. And then I was like, she told me that, she had been in the Amazon with a bunch of shamans doing ayahuasca. And I was like, that's so awesome. Like, that's so awesome. Like, oh my God. And that, mind blown, and then she starts talking about her journey, and she did like past life therapy regression, and she figured out her familial karma, and I was like, I'm so happy I met you, because it's like the more I learn this stuff, the more other people to come in to affirm what I'm learning, and the more I see that there is this whole culture and universe of people. And it's like I've been walking alone for so long that it's just so amazing to know that like I'm not alone. You know what I mean? And like it's just crazy. Like there was just too many coincidences. Like I don't want to explain too much because it was private conversation. But wow, it was just mind-blowing. And she was talking about like shamanic work, and I was like, it's interesting because I had a roommate who I found on Craigslist. Like I just put an ad on Craigslist and they answered it. And I have a habit of like attracting the right people in my life at the right time. And I feel like this person was my protector. And I was saying it for a while. I'm like, oh yeah, he's my guardian, or he's my protector. And I just said it not knowing anything. And then I invited him to my birthday party, and then they were talking about spiritualism because all my friends are into all this stuff. And, well, a couple of them, 2 of them actually. And then he was like, oh yeah, because he's a shaman. And I'm like, and they were like, you're a shaman? And they just were like quizzing him and asking him questions and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here at my birthday party like, I don't even know what a shaman is. Because I didn't know. I've heard of shaman. I didn't know what it was. Like, I really didn't understand. So after the party, I asked my friend, what is it? I started doing some research, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I guess you were my protector, my guardian. And later on, I find out that I just knew that he was. And he really was protecting me from a lot of negative energy in my life. I just thought that was wild. So he moved out at the same time that someone else in my life left. And I'm wondering if it's coincidental or not. But supposedly he's moving back in September. He's like, I need to leave this house, and I have to clear my energy, and I have to get all my stuff in order, and then I can move back in. And I'm like, if y'all know what that means, please let me know. But then I figured, again, the master finds a student, so maybe I'm going to get into shamanic healing. The Reiki I just want to learn because I took a healing touch class. When was I working at the jewelry company? In like 2008 or 2009. And the woman who did Reiki told me a lot about myself, like things that nobody knew. And she was like, you have this gift. You should look into Reiki. And she's like, you should look into a lot of things. And I was like, okay. And I didn't think anything of it, but it's always been in the back of my head. And then more and more people were talking about it. So I just paid for an online course, and then I figure I'm just going to take the online course, get that information, and then find a Reiki master in New York that can teach me the actual touch, because it's different when you learn online and when you actually are doing it. But I want to make sure it's somebody that I'm comfortable with, because when you let anybody do anything to you, you're like letting them in. And you have to be very particular. Like, I'm very particular with who touches me. Like, I remember my friend gave me a massage in the back of my neck and my head, and I was very uncomfortable, and I didn't like it. And I don't know, I just didn't like it. So you have to be careful. Like, those masseuses that you get for like $35 an hour or $39 an hour, they can put whatever they want into you, and they can take whatever they want from you if you allow them. So you have to be very careful with that. I'm very particular with who I touch. I love hugging. I'm a hugger because I love to like just love people. But that's different than actually like massaging and doing Reiki. And, you know, and I would be very particular with who I do Reiki to. Like, if I get in there and I'm like, oh, I got to get out of here, you know, I'm getting out of there. Because y'all know me. And just so y'all know, I'm really not ghetto. Like, if you ever saw me in my real life, like you saw that video, if you watched the video about like I'm a giant mess, or I'm a mess of information all rolled up into one. At the end, I was like talking like this, and then blah, blah, blah. And like, yeah, so this is like what you do, and blah, blah, blah. Because sometimes I have to talk like that in business to get people to understand me and hear me clearly, because I think I speak perfect English, but apparently I don't. So, I mean, I think I speak well. I don't know. But my alter ego is ghetto. Because I grew up so princessy and like put together, and like, you know, I went to Catholic school and I got a scholarship, and I was really smart. I was like a nerd, but a cool nerd. I was always like the popular nerd. It really was kind of like a fairy tale. It really was. But except for like those crazy dramatic moments. And yeah, so that's more of like my alter ego. And it's just like, I don't know, it's like storytelling. Like, when I tell you guys stories and stuff, I just feel like you'll understand more if I don't know. I grew up in 1990s, you know, like I was a teenager in 97, Mary J. Blige, Method Man days, where everybody wore like cross colors, and we were all like down with the Kings, and like Zulu Nation. It was like that, right? Or something like that. I can't do it anymore. But I'm not ghetto at all. I'm really not at all. I live very well. I'm not at all. But I don't know where that came from. I'm just talking. But it's just interesting. Maybe when I do past life regression, you know, or familial karma, I'll learn more about myself, why I'm stuck in certain places. But I met this woman, and it's just reaffirming the journey and the path that I'm on. And it made me feel like, she said, what did she tell me? It was so enlightening. Oh, she said she found out about her past life, and it was very hard for her to let somebody love her. And she said because she found that in her past life she was a man, and she never told the person that she loved them, and she died regretting that. And on her deathbed she said, I will never not, and you know, in my future, in my next life, I'm gonna make sure, in all my lives, I'm gonna make sure to let the people know that I love them. And that like hit home, because that was like another sign, because I told the person that I love them, and then I told them that I didn't love them when I did. So then I'm like, maybe I should have said it. And I was like, well, is that a sign? And then I was like, I'm not saying it anymore because I've already said it. But then I was driving home, and I thought to myself, and I said, you know what? I'm never going to love anybody who doesn't love me back. And I think that was my affirmation. And I think that's why all of this happened. So that I can get to the point where I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm only going to love the people who love me. I mean, I'll be nice and kind to everybody. I can't be mean. I get angry, and I have a, se llama una lengua venenosa. Like, I have a venomous tongue. Like, sometimes I say some stuff. But to me, they're just words. Like, I always feel like actions speak louder than words, and energy speaks louder than words. And it's like, sometimes it's the only way to express yourself. But, like, my actions are always like, I forgive you. Come home. You know, I'll take I'll be there for you no matter what. To all my friends, no matter how many arguments or whatever we get into, everybody knows that they can always come back because, oh, that's just Myra. She'll get over it, you know? I don't have, I have anger I'm working on. I admit it. But it was recent because I never had anger, like ever, except for that ticket that I got. Pissed me off. But I never really had anger. I was pretty much a happy person. The only things that make me angry are when people do something to me that I know is wrong, or they do it intentionally to hurt me, and then I get angry because I'm like, why are you trying to hurt me? And then I try to defend myself, but I'm not really good at that. So then sometimes it's verbal. Like I just get upset or I get curt, or since I'm a Cancer, I crawl back into my shell and I hold back, I withhold. Character trait. But at that, oh my God. Was that a piece of hair or something went in my throat? Was it trying to stop me from saying what I was going to say? That was weird. It was like a dust just flew in my mouth. No, I forgot what I was going to say. I don't remember. So the lady told me that, and then I had my truth that I came out, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to love anybody if they're not going to love me back. And then I came home and I bumped into my roommate, and then she told me her story. It was awesome. And she just had a good day at the vegan festival, and she was like teaching me everything that she learned because she's a vegan. And I'm going to start cooking more vegan stuff because I want to make sure she can eat, because she's been so good to me. She's another one that just came into my life and protected me from the moment she met me. She was like, you know what? I have to be honest with you and tell you these things, And I really appreciate that, because a lot of people don't tell you what other people say about you. They're kind of like, I'm not getting involved, And she was just like, you need to know this because it's just not right, And I appreciate that. So, and she's always protected me, and like she always makes sure that I have food and I'm taken care of, and she's like my little mini mom. And she's 21. She might be 22. And I'm 37, and she's like my mom. So now I'm trying to reciprocate and hang out with her. We went to Hollyfest yesterday. She's just a really, really genuinely good human being, and her mother's amazing too, an angel. I'm like I said, I'm blessed. I always meet these people and they all want to protect me and love me and take care of me. So that's why when I meet somebody that's like mean to me or harsh or talks about me, I'm like, why? Like, why would you do that? Why? I don't know. I don't know. So the whole point is that it's freaky and creepy. I made the video about being activated a while ago, if you want to look it up on my YouTube channel. I feel like I'm being activated again, but now for a bigger purpose. Like the other activation was to get me on my path, and it did. That's when my friend's brother died after that, and then she's like, I need you to help me sell all these crystals, and I'm thinking Swarovski crystals, and then I walk in and it's like these giant crystal balls, like the size of bowling balls, and then little balls, and amethyst, smoky quartz, labradorite. Oh my God. Boxes and boxes. Tom's toothpaste, essential oils like crazy, which is why I have the essential oils, because I was selling them and I'm like, maybe I should keep some of these, because the universe doesn't make any mistakes. Just boxes of stuff, like wooloo gourds, and what are those things called? Oh my God. They look like little temples, and they're made out of obsidian. Pagodas. The little lion, made out of obsidian and jade. Necklaces. It's like a dragon with a ball. Little Buddha necklaces. Like all this. And I'm just like thinking to myself, like, I don't know why. Like, I'll sell it because I need to make money. And she needed to pay for the funeral because her brother died. But then somebody told me I had a bunch of crystals, and I'm like, and I walked into a crystal shop and I was like, oh yeah, I just got all these crystals from my friend's brother or whatever. He passed away and I'm helping her. And she's like, they say the crystals find you. You don't find the crystals. And I'm like, same thing as the master finds you. You don't find the master. Like, this is just like really weird. So I'm like, oh, okay. Do you want some? I could bring you some. And she was like, yeah, because she was telling me that she couldn't afford the crystals that she was selling in the store. And I was like, I'll bring you a box of crystals, no problem. And I didn't. My friend told me after I sold everything, like whatever was left over, she's like, just keep it. I don't even want it. And I'm like, okay. So I was just giving crystals away to everybody, And I still have so many. Pyrite, like just Amazonite, something like that. Aventurine. Oh, so many. Pink quartz, everything. So that was the beginning. So once that happened, when did I meet this kid? 2014? So that was probably 2013 was when I got the crystals. The next year I meet a very affluent man. All I've been meeting are millionaires, like millionaires and millionaires, and they're just, I feel like the seeds have been sown, and then the reward or the reaping is coming, right? Amazing affluent man, and I sold a lot of stuff for him. I was doing the eBay selling too, and he ended up being the marketing director of a very, very big company, and he also was a photographer and a bunch of other stuff, and very famous, like in the music industry and whatnot. And I was like, oh God, like, okay, and they were very spiritual, and some things fell in my lap from that. And then I started working for a lady who was an addictions therapist. Amazing human being, God bless her soul. She was into aromatherapy and essential oils. And we had conversations, and then that's when I got into, and my other friend, okay, so I have a friend that has been with me through this whole journey as my witness, right? And she's just like the story of my life. She's just like, I was like, you better write the book, and she was like, I love essential oils. Oh my God, I'm really into all this. So she was been into all this stuff way before me. And when we were younger, we met in high school, and she was only there for a year. And she sat behind me in homeroom, and we became friends instantly. And we used to see spirits when we were younger. Like, we would get on the bus, and we'd be like, do you see that? And she would be like, yeah, it's like a man. I'm like, yeah, he's wearing a hat. And she's like, and a tie, like a plaid tie. And like, we would like totally describe. We used to see spirits, like freaking spirits right in front of us. Ghosts, like, it was just, we were always in tune, and we always felt things together, and it was just wild. And then she went away. So that's one of those meetings. And it's funny because she went away, moved to another country, came back. Like, I didn't know anything about her. I had no idea what was going on. She was just like a really good friend. Like, we were together all the time for like a year. I also had two other friends, the same thing, but they weren't as spiritual. They were spiritual, but they weren't like, they couldn't see spirits and whatever. And then all of a sudden, when I'm in sales, going door to door, I walk into a restaurant and I see this girl. And she's the hostess at the restaurant. And I'm like, hey, oh my God. And then we catch up a little, but we don't really talk. And then I think we became Facebook friends or something. I don't know. And then years later, I start posting all this spiritual stuff. It's 2013, 2014. I've been enlightened with all this spiritual thing and the self-development and positive things and blah, blah, blah. And then two people become really good friends of mine because of what I was posting. And they both said, I felt like I should contact you because of what you were posting. Like, I just felt drawn to contact you. And they became two very important people in my life. So I'm like, okay. After I meet this lady who does the essential oils and she's an addictions therapist, I learned so much. And it's interesting because what I learned from her helps me over the next 2 years with people that were in my life that had problems, whether or not they chose to admit it. And now I'm able to like help people a little bit more. I don't have her in-depth training, but I can see things and I know where to send them and guide them and whatnot. So this is like, you see the spiritual thing unfolding, right? And I was working as an office manager at Uber, and I stopped working there. And the day after I left, which was in 2013, October 7th, 2013, I met a woman. And she was talking about Thich Nhat Hanh. And just it was my roommate's friend that came from California to visit for 2 days or 3 days. And it was the day before she was supposed to leave. So we ended up talking, and just when she was speaking to me, I tell you, there was a heat that filled my entire body from top to bottom. And it felt like just heat, like the universe was hugging me It was just like, I call it the heroin heat. Like if you ever do ecstasy or anything and you get that heat, that was like that, right? So I'm like, okay, I've never done heroin. But I just, like that's what I equate it to because it's what I'm told. Well, I know what ecstasy is like, let's be honest. And then I was like, okay, so that was crazy to me because that's a feeling I haven't had in like 13 years, 14 years. And I'm just like, okay, this is really weird. And I knew at that moment, hold on, that she was going to be the spokesperson for my community center. And I knew that this was a very spiritual woman and I need to keep in touch with her. So I drove her to the airport the next day and I had an amazing conversation with her, and she's still on my Facebook, putting her on hold until I actually need her, right? 2013. 2014, I meet this kid, my soulmate. And I'm like, okay, this is really weird. Gave him a stone and a bunch of other things, and he was like, I'm just getting into this, and people said that I should, learn about these things, and it's so weird that you're giving me this. There was a lot of coincidences, a lot of synchronicities, a lot of beautiful magic, right? I'm like, okay, now my nose is running, and I think it's because I'm speaking too much. I think my nose runs when I speak the truth or whatever. Oh, God. I've been having a lot of issues with my nose lately, that it's like running. And it's interesting because when I met the tantric, so then fast forward to February of this year, I meet a tantra healer, 75 years old, 30 years doing tantra, was a psychotherapist, and then decided to do tantra because as a psychotherapist you can't touch, and she realized there was a lot of healing in touch. So she became a coach, and world-renowned, unbelievable, like, woman. Unbelievable, right? Because I have the luxury of meeting these people, and what she was teaching aligns with the intimacy school that I want to teach with. So I was learning from her. I'm actually going to take the tantra course with her in October. Sorry, I gotta blow my nose, which I think is weird because I didn't have an issue before I started talking, and as soon as I start talking, all of a sudden my nose goes crazy. So if you guys know what that means. So the reason I mentioned her, where's my garbage? Oh, is because when I met her, the first day I met her, she's like, I don't know what's wrong. My nose keeps running. And it was literally dripping and pouring out. And I knew, I was like, it's because I'm here. And I didn't even know why or what it meant. But it just kept dripping and dripping and dripping. And she just was constantly had something on. She's like, I don't know what it is. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's because I'm here. I don't know what that means. But I know it's because I'm here. I don't know why. I don't know how. But I know it's because I'm here. And then the next time it was a little bit, and then it just went away. So I want to know if anybody knows why your nose would drip. Like if there's a spiritual meaning to it. I don't think it's allergies because I've noticed it a lot when I'm making these videos. I went back and looked and I'm like, there's always something up with my nose. And it's only when I make these videos. Anyway, so I met her and that was amazing. Then the shaman came into my life a little bit before that. And that was interesting because I never expected that. And I just feel like, and then today I met that woman. And she wants to connect me with some people. And I know, I'm going to quote this right now, that I'm going to end up learning from the Ojibwe tribe in Wisconsin. I guarantee it. Amongst other places. Like I also want to go to Mount Shasta in Arizona. Like, I want to go somewhere in the Amazon, probably Costa Rica when I go to Envision. I don't know if Amazon's in Costa Rica. I don't know, we'll see. But I don't know where I'm going on this journey. I'm going with the flow. That's how I've always been. And whenever I go with the flow, my universe, it's true. My universe, my life ends up being so amazing and fantastic. Like everyone's like, what are you doing now? And I'm like, I'm going to Puerto Rico next week. And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, for free. I got a free trip. They're like, you fucking bitch. I'm like, sorry. And I'm like, yeah, my friend asked me, you want a free trip to Puerto Rico? And I'm like, sure. You just got to run, pick up people from the airport. It's a 2-hour drive each way. And then you got to make breakfast. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, it's free. I'm like, all right. You just got to buy your own dinner. I'm like, you got it. And they're like, and if you do well and everybody likes you, then I'll let you do a couple of other trips and I'll pay you for them. And I'm like, I get to travel for free. That's what I always wanted. That's what I always wanted. So now that I'm traveling, I'm going to start documenting everything, because I guarantee you when I go to these places, I'm going to meet people that are going to bring me even closer to my path. And it would be nice to have you guys join me through it. My life is not normal in any way whatsoever. It's always been full of magic and coincidences and synchronicities. Even when my friend came to pick up their stuff, like they were wearing these glasses and I'm like, I have the same exact glasses. You know, I was like, I got them in Afropunk. Like there's just too many coincidences, too many synchronicities, too much, you know, even all the time I walk into people's houses and I'm just like, I have the same thing, you know, the same item or whatever, which is rare because I've walked into so many people's houses and we have nothing in common, you know, but every time I meet somebody, something brings me closer. And then like, just when I think like, oh, they're totally not going to call me back, they do. And they're like, come back. And I'm like, why? I don't know. I don't know what's going on and I don't know what's happening. And is my face getting red? And I'm confused, but it's a happy confusion because I know my life is going in the right path. I'm a little freaked out, but I understand. And I was thinking when I was in the car, I was like, there's a reason this person's no longer in my life. And it's because I don't think they were meant to be here for this part of my journey. I think this is my part of my journey, and that what I'm learning and everything that I'm coming across is for me to learn undisturbed without any type of interference with energy, you know? And then maybe when we come together, we can teach each other what we've learned, and maybe we'll never come together because I've learned some other stuff. So I don't know. But the universe is interesting. Like I said, it always reveals the truth. What else? I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else to share with you guys. But the synchronicity of me meeting this person, I don't think it was a mistake. And she was like, it's just so refreshing to be able to talk to somebody about all of this stuff. You know, we were talking about our friends and their gifts and the things that they do and the people that we know and the experiences that we've had and the awakenings that we've had. And God, it's so good. If there's a community of people where we can all get together, that would be awesome. Because I feel so, it was a beautiful reciprocated exchange, which is what I've been looking for the last 2 years. Is just like me and my friend TK was the last person I had that with, where we would talk and it was just a reciprocation of energy and love and information and guidance, and she would tell me something and then I would tell her something. And you know, me and my other friend, the one that I talk to every day, which chooses to remain anonymous, she and I have a reciprocation of information and energy. My best friend that called me the other day that I made the video about in the middle of the, you know, we talked for 3.5 hours. You know, we talk to each other once a month because we've decided we love each other so much and we're friends, but we're so busy. We really are so unbelievably busy that we're going to make, it was his idea. We're going to talk to each other once a month. You know, same day, same time, every month. You know, and sometimes we do miss a month or whatever, but like, it's just a way to make sure that we maintain our friendship. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I'm very grateful that he even took the initiative to do that, you know. Everybody else that I was really close with, they're all in the medical field. And that's what I was saying. Like, I met all these people, and all the people that were my best friends, like the ones that we spent every single day together, the ones that we were like so in sync, the ones that everybody was like, oh my God, you're always together. They're all healers. They're either nurses, doctors, they teach children that are autistic. They're my other friend wanted to be a therapist, but she lost her mind. I hope she maybe got into it, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't know. I'm becoming like a Reiki, holistic, spiritual healer, homeopathic person. Who else? Nurse, doctor. Oh, and then my other friend out of nowhere, he was like a computer guy and an actor, and now he wants to do music. And when we were talking, he was the one that was telling me, oh, because Mercury's at a retrograde, and he knows all about, like, you know, you're a Cancer with your moon rising here and your sun rising there. And I'm like, what? Since when? You know? But they're getting into like that whole spiritual field, and they know everything. I'm like, I never knew you were into this stuff, and I talk to you all the time, but it's amazing that you don't really know people. You think you know people, but you don't. And oh, life. Yeah, that's it, I think. Another babbling session. Thank you for bearing with me and being part of my journey and just listening. If you've been activated, welcome. Welcome, because your world's gonna get a little crazy. If you've ever seen Alice in Wonderland, get excited. And we'll catch up. And Oprah, call me. Oprah, I'm waiting for you. Bye.